So yeah, today I wanted to talk about alcohol in teaching, and I guess especially in China because that's where I am. So in China, alcohol is a lot cheaper than in other countries. Like it's a lot cheaper than in Australia, where I come from. For example, like a beer, you can get a beer in a 7-Eleven for about $1.50. So yeah, less than that, maybe $1. Um, and in smaller cities, you can get even cheaper beer. I think the least amount I paid for a beer was maybe 50 cents for a big bottle of beer. Um, so yeah, it's available. It's very much available. This is some baijiu. So this is like the famous Chinese alcohol. Now China and Japan and Korea, they have their drinking culture. In Korea, as a high school teacher there, I was invited to drink with the other teachers a few times, and yeah, I'll just close my curtain. Um, but in China, that's never actually happened. And as a teacher, I've never really been invited to drink, except with some adult students who have invited me to drink with them and their families a few times. But I've never been under any pressure or any obligation to drink alcohol as a teacher. It's sort of more of a business thing. Like teachers won't be expected to drink alcohol, um, but not always. I mean, you might be working at a smaller school, and the owner of the school might invite you to drink alcohol with him, and he might he might expect you to drink with him. But in my experience working for bigger schools, and certainly working at universities, I've never been invited to drink alcohol with with the leader of the university or any of my managers at the university. So I appreciate that because I wouldn't like to be invited to drink alcohol, and I haven't really drunk any alcohol in a couple of years. Like I had a beer 2 weeks ago. I mean that's I guess I'm getting older. That's it for me. But but yeah, I mean talking about alcohol and ESL, it is an issue, and a lot of young people, especially young men, but not only young men, but young women as well. They really enjoy the alcohol culture in China, and they enjoy drinking alcohol with foreigners and having a great time, and it takes its toll. And I've certainly seen people age before my eyes. I've seen people go from being like full of vigor and full of vitality to being really, I guess, despondent and unhealthy just from living the lifestyle of drinking a lot. And I've ridden my bicycle past bars, and I've seen this person in the bar every day, some new teacher, and then I've seen them slowly, I guess, transition and change, and then one day they're gone. They've left the country, or they've lost their job, or whatever. In terms of alcohol, like how many stories I've heard of teachers being at work drunk or whatever. Um, to be honest, I haven't really heard any great stories like that. I think my best story of that was an English friend and I. We were going to a work dinner at a centre we worked for Wall Street English, and our manager. She wasn't a really bad person. Like we didn't hate her, but um, it's like with all managers, you do feel some kind of like you'd like to get some revenge on them because maybe they've changed your schedule on you, or they've denied you a leave day or whatever. So this lady, she quite a pretty lady actually. She was a nice lady. She sent us to this bar, and she said, wait for me. And she was really late, and she felt bad about that. So she sent my friend a message. You can just order as much as you want, and I'll pay for the I'll pay the bill. So my friend and I, we saw this as a great opportunity. So we drank a lot more we normally would, and we had to go to work the next day, and like I definitely wasn't seeing double or anything like that. Like I wasn't throwing up or anything, but I really felt uncomfortable, and so did my friend. And at the end of our shift finished at 9 o'clock. We started at 1. We finished at 9 p.m. At the end of our shift, like we both had to just have another drink. Like we needed to have another drink to like calm ourselves down to feel better. So that's probably one of my best stories about alcohol. But honestly, it's not really common for teachers to drink a lot and then go to class drunk or whatever. But there was one guy as well. This guy was a Scottish guy, and he once told me that he had drunk a bottle of vodka in the lunch break. So that was incredible. Like I couldn't believe that. I think he shared this bottle of vodka with a VIP student. So that was like really just like next level, because honestly I never even used to drink spirits. Like I've only had very small amounts of vodka in my life, and I've only had very small amounts of baijiu. But yeah, this guy, he was a real drinker, and he could do that, and he came to work and he taught all of his classes. You wouldn't have been able to tell that that he had been drinking. But yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. It's pretty interesting stuff. Alcohol and ESL in Asia, it is a bit of a thing. Like there is a bit of a relationship there, and I'm very glad that I've kind of, I guess, escaped that relationship. I've come out of it. Now I'm on the other side of it, and yeah, like I mean, this isn't my confessional, but what I didn't like about alcohol was that I just felt that I was drinking alone. Like I was just drinking beers. I wasn't drinking too many beers, but I thought, come on, you know, what is this? And I feel a lot better having stopped doing that. But yeah, I guess there's never going to be a time in ESL when there's not a few teachers in the bar having a drink after work, and it's probably not the worst thing in the world. But any new teachers coming to China or any country in Asia, I would sort of say like, look, as a general rule, if you've got to work the next day, just limit yourself to like a drink per hour, and limit yourself to like 3 or 4 drinks, and go home. If there's a big event like the Super Bowl's a pretty big event in China, you get a lot of Americans coming together, and people sort of get up early and have a few beers. If it's like that, make sure that you've got the day off the next day. You know, you don't have to be drinking if you've got to work the next day. That would be my advice. Yeah. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.